Okay, class. So you should have ended again with something like this, which is all of your individual pieces extruded, and in this case, disassembled, right, from this assembled version. We're now going to look into a couple of things. We're going to learn how to join multiple little pieces. You see a join over here. How to join them using what's called Boolean Union. You see that that line is gone right there. And then we're going to go through a process of unfolding that 3D object into a first surfaces, as you see right here, but then onto lines, and we're going to develop a legend or a key for the constructing mechanism. Talk more about that, and then we'll also look into adding tabs so that we can actually end up with the template that we can actually use to fabricate, or in this case, create your model. And as you have seen right here in the example on the screen, we're actually going to take this, in smaller chunks, smaller steps. And I'd like for us to first try one all together, which is this one right here, where we'll be using just 3 of the 11 pieces that you have ended up with. And first of all, just to learn the concept and the logic behind this. Okay, so let's take a look at how to do that. And as you'll see, right, we're going to start with an L shape, one of these little wedges, triangles, and then one of these cubes right here. Okay, so let's go back to your model version. Okay, and so again, we want to copy rather than just use those objects right there. And I'm going to copy these 3 guys right here. Okay, we're also going to learn a couple of other commands, okay, along the way. So I want to flip things around so that, again, I end up with a model that looks something like this on my right side of the screen. Okay, so let's see. We can use a command. Let me minimize this. We can use a command called rotate 3D. So we have rotate. We have a rotate 3D. So I can select this object right here, and pay attention. You might have to try this a couple of times. The logic is straightforward once you get the hang of it. All right. So I'm gonna demonstrate, and I'll come back to take you guys a step by step. So I selected the object, select objects to rotate, press enter when done, enter, start of rotation axis. I'm gonna select this point right here, and then end of rotation, I'm gonna select this point right here. And then notice it says angle or first reference point. I'm gonna click right here, and I'm gonna hold my shift key, and I'm gonna lift this thing up like that. Okay, so what just happened? Okay, so we need 3 things, I think 2 things primarily. So first of all, we need an axis. So this is gonna be my axis right here. And then that axis is gonna help us rotate kind of like this, right? Like that. Okay, so again, if I do rotate 3D, enter, select the object to rotate, that's the object to rotate. So I first gonna select the axis, start of rotation axis. So I snap to both of these endpoints right here, and then that, notice that it's kind of hard to see, but it gives me a circle, right? It gives me that circle right there, because now what I'm going to tell Rhino is like, hey Rhino, so that's my axis, and I want you now to rotate from that point right there. It's technically 90 degrees, and you actually can see it underneath right here on this portion of the screen, right? Because that's laying down, and we actually need to bring this 90 degrees up like that. So you can kind of like draw that right here, right? So I actually want to rotate this 90 degrees like that. But I'm just doing that with the reference. So again, rotate 3D, right? Select this is my axis right here, and then this is my angle. I hold shift so that it snaps to that orthographic, and then that gives me my 90-degree angles. And again, that is now standing up. And we're going to be using this command quite a bit, quite a lot actually. So no worries, you'll have a chance to practice. Okay. We're going to, let's see, we're gonna rotate this, I think 90 degrees like that. Let's go minus 90 so that it ends up like this. And then we're going to pick up this wedge again with that rotate 3D. So I can select this object right here. This is my axis right here. And then again, for my rotation, I'm holding shift so that this constraints right here my cursor, and then hold shift one more time, and notice how that was lifted up. Again, please don't don't uh, don't get frustrated. It takes a little bit of practice, and again, you will. All right. I'm gonna bring this guy right here by typing move, enter. Select objects to move. I'm going to move from that endpoint to that endpoint right there. I'm going to select this right here, click on that blue axis, and I'm going to say -1 right here. Now move it. I'm going to end up with this shape right here. Okay, so we're going to type copy, enter, select this object, hold shift, and copy it over here. Because next, what we're going to do is, again, we're talking about aggregations, right, and merging volumes. So now here in the Rhino world, we can actually select all of this and type Boolean Union, enter, and then exit or escape. You see how now everything is one single object right here. Not only that, but we're going to use another command called MergeAllCoplanarSurfaces, enter. And notice how, well, let me undo. Because you see that here it still maintained this, they're all merged as a single object, but still it's reading this as different surfaces, and you can see that hard line right there. But we actually want them to read it as a single object, including the faces. So I can tell Rhino to use MergeAllCoplanarFaces to actually now treat this entire shape as a single surface. Okay. And then we are going to get rid of what's called your ISO curves. So select that object right there. And then let's go to your properties. These might be somewhere on your screen. If not, you can right click on this and just bring the properties tool on, visible. I'm going to scroll all the way down to what says show surface ISO curves, and I'm going to uncheck that. Notice how that clean things up a little bit. Okay. All right. So we've got this going on right here. Okay. So what's next? Well, let's talk about unrolling or unfolding this. And what's cool about this is that in the digital world, we can actually start thinking about these templates that we can start developing as if we were to fabricate this object, right? And by fabricate, I mean like cutting and folding, as you guys have so far. Okay, so I'm going to copy this object right here and bring it to the side over here. Okay. Now, I think it's helpful to look at this from multiple angles, multiple sides, see what's going on over here. Okay, so again, basically, we want to end up with the flat surfaces so that we can fold them back into a 3D object. So let's select this object right here and type explode. And we end up with now all of the surfaces individually, right? All of these individual surfaces right here, okay? me show you this right here. So for example, if I see this, if I need to what's called flatten this object right here, I want to flatten it, right? I can select this face right here. I can type rotate 3D, right? My axis from there to there, and then I want to snap, right? And I'm going to snap right here. Notice what happens. It opens things up, and you can already start seeing. Kind of where we're heading with this, right? Because if I flatten this right here over here, this line now over here, and this one over here, right? And we fold them like this, it becomes this surface right here, all of the surfaces. What do you mean, Munoz? I'll show you, right? So rotate, and again, this is we're gonna be using rotate 3D quite a bit, so it's a good practice. So this object right here, for example, so I wanna hinge it, right? I wanna hinge it, rotate it, so that it's actually aligned with this surface right here. How can I do that? Well, again, rotate 3D, enter, select the object, enter. Now the start and end of the rotation is that face right there. And then I'm going to snap to this point and then hold shift so that it constrains the object, and we have flipped it like that. And then if I repeat that, but selecting both of them, enter, right? This is my axis of rotation, and this is my angle of rotation. I can end up with this right here. But notice I am going to, right? I'm going to snap it to this face right here. And we're going to see why. Because if I then select this, hold shift, select that, hold shift, select that right there, right? Check this out. Enter to repeat that rotation 3D. That's my axis right here. And this is my angle over here. What has just happened? Well, I'm starting to flatten, what's called unroll these surfaces. Okay. And we can repeat that process. And I'll take you guys to this one. And of course, as you can kind of see, each of you guys will have to develop this logic for your models. And of course, the puzzle will get a little bit more complex and dynamic within your own forms. But like I said, let's all start together as a class with this simple exercise right here. So what can we do next? Well, again, it's kind of like reverse engineering how you would actually fold things in order to achieve the 3D form. So what I suggest doing next is, for example, this little wedge like this, right? If I rotate it, and I think I can just do a simple rotation, not the rotate 3D, just rotate. I can rotate from there, right, to there. Oops, undo, so Control Z, rotate. Rotate a regular one from there to there, hold shift, right, like that. And then I can rotate this one as well. Right, let's see, maybe from there to there, hold shift. That right there. Okay, you can kind of start seeing it. Then select this one, this one, this one. Rotating it from here to here. We do that. You see that? Right. Next, all right, what do we want to do? rotate this one. I'm going to use the rotate 3D now. Again, you know, my axis, right, and my angle. Hold shift. One more time, but then I add, hold shift, select this object right here so that I have this object and this object right here. Again, rotation, axis, angle. I actually want to go down, right? Hold shift, select this piece right here, enter to repeat my last command. I want to select this as the axis, and now this is the angle, right? Notice how we now are here in this point, right? I think I might need some room, so I'm going to select all of this and maybe move it over here a little bit. All right. And then I'm going to select all of this right here plus that little triangle. Again, this is my axis and my angle. Hold shift. It's very important that you hold shift and you're accurate on your rotations. If not, well, it's going to have an effect, negative effect on the final result of the model. But no worries, that's what we're here to do, to learn that. So I can select all of this again. This is my axis. This is my angle right here, hold shift. And then lastly, select this piece right here, enter to repeat my last command, select the axis and angle of rotation. And what has just happened? We have unrolled our surface. This piece right here is the same as this piece right here. This is the flattened version right here. And this is the assembled version right here. Okay, so not fully done yet, but I'd like for you guys to try and practice this. Let's go ahead and meet back here. So what I'd like for you guys to do now is to copy this component to the side. And I think it would be easier if we rotate this. I'm going to select this, click on this blue, and type 90. Is that what we want? No, let's try one more time. 180. All right, there you go. That's what we want. I think it's helpful if we rotate it like that. So a couple of steps more to the process. Boolean Union, Boolean Union, and then using the rotate 3D and rotate commands to flatten, unroll this thing, and then just a simple rotation over here to reorient it. Next, we're going to look into how to actually prepare this for printing and cutting. And in order to do so, we're going to make use of layers and tabs and labels. Okay, so I'll see you guys on the next part.